Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Ha, Racha, Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS and their elders. Double honors to my elder, Aharawan Ban Yasharala of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Also, salutations to the sincere Akim, pushing his truth around the four corners of the earth, and the men, women, and children that believe in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. I'm Nakar Harab Ban Yasharala, coming out of the Lions Den camp of Yasharala here in Jacksonville, Florida. And now today I'll be coming out with a little small lesson, and it's a lamb back to a degree. Well, it's a slight lamb back off the my elder of this camp, the video that he just did about the Trump indictment and the Republicans and Democrats being against each other. And the truth of the matter is that's a house divided. And if a house is divided, it can't stand. You know, when all those who are in the house, they all must be working together. They all must be on the same page, for that house to stand, i.e. flourish or continue. But what we see now, we have a lot of division going on. And quite frankly, every time it has been some tomfoolery. It was always these Edomites infighting, fighting against each other, you know, divided, not agreeing on everything. So without further ado, I'm going to just bring out a few scriptures. This is Mark chapter 3, and I'm going to start at verse 22. It says, and the scribes, when they came, hold on, let me see. I might have to start up a little higher. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to just start at verse 22. It says, and the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, he hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of devils casteth he out devils. Because, at this point, if you go back to Matthew, I want to say 26, if I'm not mistaken, Yahweh Shai was casting out demons. He had healed a little boy. As a matter of fact, let's go back to it real quick, so it won't be no misquotings. Okay, not 26. Salakia. There we go. It was Matthew 12. It was saying, Yahweh Shai, he was going around, he had casted out one that was possessed with the devil, that was blind and dumb. And the Lord had healed him. And of course, that blind, deaf, and dumb person spoke and saw. And the people were amazed. They was like, is this the son of David? They're like, oh man, he did all this. And but those wicked scribes and Pharisees, they heard it. And in their thinking, in their wicked thinking, they were like, oh, he got a devil. He's casting out, he got the spirit of Beelzebub. He's casting out devils by the power of devils. And that don't make sense. That's a division. Just like America, it's a division here in America. It don't make sense to have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party and having people divided. It don't work. The Bishop Kanaka of this camp did a lesson a while back called the Divided States of America. And that's really what this is. It's divided. I'm a Democrat. I'm a Republican. I'm independent. And it's all division. There is no togetherness here. So guess what's eventually going to happen? This place is going to fall because of so much division. But again, and it says, and the scribes which came down from Jerusalem, back at Mark chapter 3, and the scribes which came down from Jerusalem, or Yerushalayim, said, he hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of devils casteth he out devils. And Yahweh Shah heard him, because he knew their thoughts. And this is what he said. He says, and he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? So he heard them. He knew their thoughts. He knew what they was already thinking and how they felt. So he called them and was like, well, then how can Satan cast out Satan? Why would Satan want to do that? basically. And this was a parable. Verse 24, it says, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. So if a kingdom is divided against itself, it cannot stand. And we're living in a kingdom that's divided against itself. So guess what? It cannot stand. You got the Trump indictment, and they just throwing so much at everybody to keep people distracted from the fact that this place is collapsing, that this place is divided, and it has an end. It does not stand anymore. But Yahweh Shah was asking them, like, if a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom can't stand. It can't stand up. And that's the same thing we're seeing right now here in America. This kingdom is divided against itself. So guess what? It cannot stand. Verse 25. And it says, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. So all the way down to a house. If a kingdom can't stand that's divided, a house either. A house ain't going to stand either. A country ain't going to stand either. A government is not going to stand either. A belief system or governmental system or whatever is not going to stand. So if a house is divided, guess what? By itself, guess what? It cannot stand. My last point, verse 26 is it. Verse 26, and it says, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end. And we see Satan rising up against himself. Look at what's going on. We got all these Edomites stoking the flames of war, trying to pretend like they not. It's all division. This place is divided. So if Satan rises up against Satan, or rise up against himself and be divided, guess what? He cannot stand but hath an end. And that's that same thing that's going on right now. All these skirmishes, these World War I, World War II, who was fighting? Edomites. But of course, you had a couple of other nations, jump into the fray on World War II. But that first World War wasn't nothing but a bunch of Edomites. And that was, when that house was divided, guess what? That was a signifying of the falling of the tabernacles of Edom's power. So this division that we see, this is a prelude to the end of Babylon. Shalom.